What's up YouTube? Inventory King here. First, I want to thank John Hudson at KG Tropicals. I ordered my shirt earlier last week and I got it a few days after I placed my order. The shirt's awesome, fits great. Thank you, John, appreciate it. Second thing is I have hit 2,000 subscribers. Thank you to all my subscribers out there. It's an exciting milestone to hit, and I'm looking forward to growing from here and putting out content that you all like to watch. So thank you. So what I got for you guys now is part 2 of my interview with James Largo of the Cichlid Shack. So you mentioned that there's no heaters in your tanks. You're using just your heat from heater, like your central heater and whatnot. How did you go about picking the right heater to keep this room consistent for your tanks to stay at 80, 82 degrees?
I had a lot of help from my father as a general contractor. He helped me build these wonderful racks. I mean, you could drive a Mack truck on these racks and they're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
So with the air conditioning and heating, he called his AC and heating guy out here, of course, and with his recommendation, we picked the best one that could handle the humidity and be able to keep up with the amount of humidity and stuff. Because the air conditioning itself, it does draw a lot of humidity right out of this room.
Nice.
So, and on top of that, it heats and cools. So, I mean, it wasn't a cheap option, but I mean, if you're gonna do it right.
It seems like it may not be a cheap option, but over time, it's going to be
It more than pays for itself. Yeah, because can you imagine running, I mean, in a 40-gallon breeder, I would need at least a 150-watt heater in every one. And there's 140 tanks in here. So not only the amount of electric I would need, but I'd probably need another sub panel just to run the heaters. You know what I mean? Because it's not like they don't draw some power on their own.
So it sounds like, remember, when you guys are thinking about setting up a fish room, if that's your passion and in your future plans, think about a central heating system. Depending where you're at, you may need to have air conditioner as well, because over time, the investment on the central heater is going to pay for itself versus running heaters in every tank. So definitely keep that in the back of your mind when you're setting up your fish room.
Another key to that is to well insulate. You'll notice on the walls around here that all the exterior walls got really thick insulated foam on them. The ceiling has had R36 insulation blown 12 inches deep. So I mean, this room is insulated better than my house almost.
When you're keeping this much life, and it's more than just a hobby, it's a business. You gotta take every step to make sure they're healthy and living.
That's another thing. There's no way around it. This hobby costs a fortune, and to do it to something in this magnitude, think about how much it costs you. Say, I know you have a 220, 240-gallon show tank. Think about how much it costs you to set up that individual tank and multiply that by 140.
Yeah.
And then you got an idea of the amount of cost it takes to set up something to this magnitude, and then add a centralized filter system and a centralized heating and air conditioning system on top of that.
Yeah.
And you can imagine the cost that goes into something like this.
Absolutely. You have to love it, and I know I can speak for myself, and I know I can speak for James too, that African cichlids are the best tropical fish that there is. And save your money, do it the right way, because if you do it the right way, you're not going to burn all your money up. At least that's the way, I know for me, being a hobbyist and keeping my 220, and I have a few species-only colonies, I could have prepared better. Knowing that now, going forward, I know I'm going to be better off.
My best advice is to get the biggest tank that you can afford, the biggest possible tank, because otherwise you're gonna end up with multiple tank syndrome, for sure.
Yeah.
If you can afford a larger tank than what you're thinking of, buy the larger tank, because in the long run you're gonna find more fish than fit in the tank that you want, and then you're gonna buy a bigger one anyway.
Yep.
So save up your money, buy the right stuff, buy the right filters, buy the right lighting, do it right. you're going to save yourself a whole lot of hassle. Your fish will be much happier in the bigger space.
Absolutely.
And, just go about it the right way. There's plenty of us on YouTube where you guys can get tons of information and just go about it the right way.
Yeah, that is for sure. And again, James has got racks of tanks here, but me just being a hobbyist, I went from one tank to over 10 and with multiple storage. So like you said, multiple tank syndrome, or as we like to call it, MTS, it will happen to you. So be ready for that. Be ready for that. So when you're in the fish room, how many hours a day do you see yourself spending in your room between maintenance, washing your fish, feeding them?
On a daily basis, if I were to average it out over the course of a week, probably 4 to 5 hours a day at least. I do a lot of my water changes on Saturdays and Sundays, so I'll do half the room on Saturday and the other half on Sunday, and then I'll do the inside stuff in the tubs another day. So about an average of 5 hours a day.
Gotcha.
You got to include the packing of the fish for orders and local customers that come by during all hours of the day. You would be surprised, but I have customers show up here at 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, knocking on my door wanting to get some fish. So
Let me in.
yeah.
Yeah, that's everyone's got to remember, when you keep fish, it's not just you change your water once and you let it go. You got to spend a lot of time. I know I found that watching your fish and just spending your time in your fish room it does more than you think, because if you have a fish that's sick, or you have fish fighting, or you have a holding female if you're breeding, you're going to know to separate them. You're going to know whether you need to medicate them, or a heater goes out, you got a tank that's low on heat, or a filter stops. It is so important to go through your room and just watch your fish. At least that's something I've learned over the years.
Yeah, and you can tell I'm a little anal retentive. All the glass is spotless in the trim and everything, so I spend a lot of time keeping everything clean and organized. And I'm just one of those organizational freaks a little bit, so.
I know, I'll be the first to admit I got OCD, and I'm the same way. If it's not perfect, it just, I don't know, there's something wrong with it if it's not perfect.
Yeah.
You mentioned the water changes takes you around 2 days on average you split it up in 2 days. When you're actually in the room doing the water changes, how many hours does it take you?
I can do the entire room over the course of 10 to 12 hours, depending on how elaborate I'm going. If I'm just doing 30%, like a normal 30% water change, probably around 10 hours. If I do a little more, maybe clean some of the sponges out and stuff like that, maybe 12 to 14. And then of course inside I got more tanks, and then the 2 300-gallon tubs in the backyard. So the inside ones take me about another 2 hours. So in all, about 14 to 15 hours a week. And I try and split it up because you can see how warm it is in here. You only want to be in here so long.
Yeah, it ain't gonna be long before you're wringing out your shirt.
Yeah, you can see the beads of sweat probably forming on us.
When you got your fish room set up and you started to sell publicly, what was the first fish that you remember selling out of the Cichlid Shack?
Oh, that's a tough one. Oh, wow.
Look at that, I stumped the master.
Yeah, you got me on that one. The guy ordered 6 or 8 3-inch fish, so I believe there was some red shoulders, I believe one of my phoenixes, because I had showed that one at that point in time. Some Eureka reds, I believe a German red. Kind of like, the standard ones that everybody kind of likes, except for the Phoenix, of course.
Yeah.
Because that one you can only get from me.
Exactly.
So, yeah. Off the top of my head, it was probably more of the German reds, the red shoulder, I believe a lemon jake, a phoenix, a dragon blood, along that lines, I think. The most popular one probably being the German red. Everybody loves the red. I mean, there's no getting away from that.
So you would say that the most popular fish is the German red that you sell?
The best selling fish that I cannot keep in this room is the phoenix. behind that, as far as one that's not a hybrid, a German Reds, I can't keep them in stock. The red combination with the red and the blue, you really just can't go wrong.
You can't go wrong. And like you said, the Phoenix. If you guys have not seen the Phoenix, it's an exclusive fish that James sells out of his fish room here. And it has a unique glaze, unique coloring. It's something you will want. So make sure you guys hit up his Instagram channel and his YouTube channel, so when he gets them in stock, he's going to post it. You literally have hours before he will not have any left. So
Actually, you got about 30 minutes.
okay, so you got 30 minutes. So if you want the Phoenix, which you will want it, keep an eye out for when James posts and get him an email, give him a call, whatever you got to do to lock one up for yourself. You're going to want one.
Thanks for watching, everyone. Please comment down below. Let me know what you think of what we talked about in this episode. Please comment, like, share, subscribe. Stay tanked.